Welcome back. I am Rudy Knapp, and this is Legacy Build Your Kingdom. Speaking of kingdom, today's a pretty cool day, Wednesday, March 11th. I get some time to spend with my nephew, my godchild, who has some work for us to do together to build to get to his confirmation. Kind of cool, a special week for him. Just made it to state for wrestling. Pretty tough kid, pretty badass. I got a chance to coach him from the time he started all the way up until this year. He has had a lot of success in wrestling. He's continuing to have success. Really hoping and praying for his success to show that his hard work pays off. But shout out to my nephew Vinny, absolute beast, absolute stud at 79 pounds and eighth grade. So get a chance to see him wrestle this weekend. Pretty cool day that I get to spend some time with him tonight. But then also, this weekend going down and watching him perform. He is a success no matter what. He is somebody that puts in work. Probably the hardest working kid in the room by far that I've seen throughout the career, along with my son who does a pretty good job and a couple other teammates. What I noticed is that Vinny doesn't like to lose, so it's great because he shares a lot of similar qualities in life like I do. So it's nice to see him perform and do well, and you're not judged on the wins and losses. You're judged on the process and the growth. And again, building your kingdom up. I consider Vinny part of my kingdom and trying to build him to be the best young man that he can be, especially to love God and especially to take on that role in helping him to experience God and give praise to God along with his parents. I get that opportunity to be his sponsor. So I'm pretty excited about that. So moving forward, building your kingdom, understanding this concept that we left off on unconditional love. And speaking of God, he's the ultimate unconditional love for us. Jesus giving his life for us. That's unconditional love. We talked a lot about my dog last week with unconditional love. Certain people in your life, they have unconditional love. So I'm kind of piggyback on that today and talk about special people in your life, especially if it's your person. I believe your person should always be this, but not everyone has that. And what I mean by that is you need to find a certain friend, a certain person that can legitimately challenge you. We all have friends that support you and love you, and your family sometimes support you and love you no matter what, and they will always speak highly of you or push you, and agree with you to whatever you're doing in life. But what about those friends, those special friends that you have, those special people in your life, hopefully your person, that challenges you when you are full of shit? And realistically, we are some of the times. Sometimes we speak and it's truly not the truth of what we see within ourselves. We might say certain things, and sometimes we're giving excuses or we're justifying things or we're living in that pity role, or we believe in certain things and we don't really see the damage to whatever our perspective is. So, what about those people that hold you accountable? So, having a person in your life to hold you accountable or hold that mirror up to your actions and challenge your thoughts provides significant advantages to your personal growth, emotional regulation, the goal achievement that you have. Such a person acts as a trusted, objective, and supportive, yet firm guide. Often, we call this an accountability partner who helps gap or bridge that gap, I should say, between your intentions and your actions. That's been coming up so much in my life lately, intentions versus actions. And if you truly look at yourself and you see what intentions you have versus what the actions are, you have to start holding yourself accountable, because you can intend for anything to happen. Until you put it into action, what you're acting as is selfish. You're holding your intentions in your brain and not forming them to become actions. Actions are going to be what you're judged by. Actions are going to be what the truth is. And we can always intend for great things to happen, but until we put ourselves out there, it just doesn't happen. Turn your thoughts and your happy feelings, your great ideas into actions. And once you turn them into actions, they're a fact. They happen. They're the truth. Words, those come with intentions. Words that match actions are what we call integrity. And it's also what we call the truth. Those things actually exist. We can show you they exist. We can document that they exist. But when you have intentions in your brain, nobody can show that as truth. So, What do I mean by this? Well, I think you should always have a person that's going to challenge you, a friend that's going to challenge you. And you have to understand the process of having one of those friends. There's some friendships that can be lost from it, there's some greatness that can be gained from it. But I want to talk a little bit about some key advantages of having someone to challenge you and hold you accountable. Here are four advantages that I'm going to talk about. Number one, increased self awareness and personal growth. You can that's this person can reveal blind spots that you have. Others can often see your behavioral patterns and your inconsistencies that we're all blind to, or that we might be blind to, and they see it. They act as a mirror reflecting parts of your consciousness back to you, offering an opportunity to see yourself clearly and for you to grow. Challenging your personal narratives is something they can do. People often live by narratives built on personal biases, fears, or for some distortions from your past experiences, like maybe growing up with racial differences or maybe narcissistic behavior. Looking truly at those behaviors and not taking them as facts, but actually someone pointing out that those are narratives that you created. That isn't an all thing. A partner helps you challenge these, enables you to see yourself in reality more accurately, which is described as healing. Find a partner that's going to help you heal. Find a accountability partner. Find a person that holds up the mirror that's going to help you heal. Find a friend that will help you heal. Confronting internal resistance. This person helps you understand when you are resisting change, allowing you to move beyond excuses and to take responsibility. Accountability. Taking responsibility for things you've done. Move beyond those excuses and justification. Again, increased self-awareness and personal growth. That's the first advantage to having someone like this. Second advantage, enhanced goal achievement and productivity. What about increased commitment? Verbally sharing your goals with another person makes them more real and tangible, increasing your commitment to them. I remember when I was doing 75 Hard, before I started doing this, I went to every one of my cousins because we were going on a trip. I remember going to all my friends. I remember talking about this program and just talking it up when it got introduced to me and how I'm going to do this program. And the moment I come back from Nashville, I'm going to start this program. And I told every person I could possibly imagine, all because they were going to hold me accountable. Because they were going to go, oh, whatever happened to you doing 75 Hard if I didn't do it? So I made sure to tell everybody so that I was held accountable, because that accountability piece from my friends, from my people, from my family, it held on to me because I didn't want to be a failure. So having those accountability people out there by setting myself up to be accountable, really important. That's increased commitment. And I did. The moment I got back off the plane, I was meal prepping at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I had a workout at 4 a.m. in the morning. That was day one of 75 Hard. It was the first day of school teaching. It was the hardest possible thing I could do because coming back from Nashville, guess what? You weren't in the greatest shape. You were eating and drinking and having fun, and you were out all night, and now you needed sleep. And I made it so it was the hardest part of it. So if you ever look into 75 Hard, life-changing event for me, that program, 75 straight days, if you can handle that, if you really push yourself to have a change in your mental capacity, change the way you think, change in your brain to do hard things so they become easier in life later. All right, getting back to where we're at. What about higher probability of success? Studies indicate that regular accountability check-ins can increase the likelihood of achieving goals by over 70%. Hence, here comes life coaching. Hence, here comes fitness coaching. Hence, sign up, because accountability partner is part of what I do. So any of my clients out there that maybe will listen or have seen this, they know I'm going to be on you. You're going to check in. We're going to push you to get to your goals. 70% do and achieve those goals based on accountability partners, based on regular check-ins, and you're more likely to achieve. Huge part. Overcoming procrastination. Knowing someone is waiting for you to update something or provides this power for you. It's an external motivator to push through procrastination and stay focused, especially when Internal motivation is low. Someone's waiting on you to complete something. It forces you to have some motivation to get it done. I look at this and say, what about this podcast? I have people every week say, hey, has your podcast come out yet? I never set it to a certain day, but I've been trying to set this to a concept of saying, hey, I want to get this done by Wednesday. So maybe I do it on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Wednesday seems to be the day. And usually if I don't have it done by Wednesday, someone reaches out to me and says, hey, did you do your podcast this week? And I love that. I love that accountability piece. Get it done. And sometimes, life happens and I get that. But realistically, let's get it done. Very big part of enhancing goal achievement and productivity. All right. The third advantage, better decision making and behavioral modification. You have this objective perspective. An accountability partner provides an outside objective view, helping you get back on course or correct when you need to. It helps you break bad habits. They help you break bad habits. They play a crucial role in disrupting negative, patterns that you might have, making it harder for you to go backwards from your progress. What about challenging negative thoughts? And we all have negative thoughts. What about challenging them? How about a trusted partner can help you spot negative thoughts, challenge your validity, and replace them with more constructive ones? How about that concept of getting rid of that negative aspect? I can't do this. No, this never worked. How about putting them on the spot? I remember being in relationships like this. I remember having these personal conversations. Whoa. If we want to improve, we want to get better, we want to grow, how can we grow when every time a suggestion comes up, you already come up with a negative reason why it didn't work before, or it won't work this time? We have to hold people accountable. Your partner should hold you accountable with staying positive and trying, coming up with your own patterns, changing those patterns. And then number four, fourth advantage, emotional support and resiliency. Reduce isolation. Pursuing personal growth or difficult goals can be isolating. An accountability partner offers support during tough moments, reminding you of your why. Why did you set these goals? Why do you want this? Why is this change necessary? A safe space for growth. A good partner offers tough love with care, providing a safe space to fail and learn without judgment. That's a pretty hard task because sometimes tough love comes off a little rough. And sometimes you have to look at your partner that is giving you that tough love and understand who that person is. Think about that for a second. This is tough to do because, it can be mistaken for acceptance if you give in. It can be mistaken for weakness. You have to stay tough. You have to hold them accountable. But you also have to understand that you do love that person and that you're an accountability partner for that reason. So this accountability partner can increase stability. They help you to stay grounded. They can keep your problems in perspective. So those four things, those four advantages, increased self-awareness and personal growth, enhanced goal achievement and productivity, better decision-making and behavioral modifications, emotional support and resiliency. Those are why you should have accountability partner or friends that are challenging to you. Yes, you want friends that are going to supportive and maybe they're not confrontational. I understand that, but you also want a friend or two or a couple people in your life, especially your partner, who's going to hold that mirror up to you. So these characteristics of effective mirror partners, just remember the phrase hold a mirror up to functions as an expression used to describe the act of reflecting or revealing the true nature of something, whether it is a person, society, or situation. You need a person in your life that's going to challenge you to be a better person. You need a person in your life to hold you accountable for the things you say you're going to do. To be effective, this person should not just be a yes person, but someone who is trustworthy and cares genuinely about your success, who challenge directly with care rather than just criticizing, who establishes clear mutual expectations and a regular check-in schedule. Now, I'm learning this, and it's hard because I do care deeply about people in my life. So sometimes you're holding your kids accountable. Sometimes you're holding your friends accountable. Sometimes you're holding your person accountable. And when you're doing this, sometimes what happens is some other things exist. And we'll talk a little bit about some of these challenges in 1 second here. But I'm learning that tone, approach, empathy are needed to be such a partner. I have that tough love part. I understand it, and I am direct, and sometimes it comes off as different, but I'm learning to work on tone, approach, and empathy to help those people in my life really get to the success that they need to get to. So, holding someone accountable by holding up this mirror is challenging because it requires balancing direct, uncomfortable truth with care, often triggering defensiveness, fear of damaging relationships, or emotional backlash. Key challenges include overcoming personal fear of conflict, ensuring the feedback is not perceived as shame, and managing the emotional weight of being the mirror. Too many people are easily hurt. Too many people need to look deep inside themselves and who they trust to have their best interests. We are human. Sometimes our personal beliefs come out. We are human. Sometimes we're harsher than we want to be. We are human, but our overall intentions are matching our actions by saying, hey, I'm here for you to check in. Hey, I'm going to call you out on your bullshit. Hey, here's your mirror. Look at what you're doing. And I want to make you understand what's actually happening here. But if you're too much into, I can't handle that confrontation, then you need to make sure you understand the important roles of why you have an accountability partner or someone that's going to challenge you. Again, go back to the beginning of this podcast where I just listed a bunch of them, 4 advantages. Everyone needs these. Nobody can go through life without getting challenged. And you're not growing and you're not learning unless you are challenged. So here's some specific challenges and nuances of this role. Emotional resistance and defensiveness. The person being mirrored often reacts with defensiveness, denial, or anger, and they are forced to confront uncomfortable truths about their behavior. It's basically calling you out and you not wanting to admit to it. It's called accountability is held up, and you don't want to take accountability because you have to take blame for things that you have done or ways you acted. Look at that. This is the biggest reason why you need someone to challenge you. What about navigating interpersonal discomfort? Many people fear making waves or damaging personal or professional relationships, leading to avoidance or sugarcoating the truth. We can't do that if we're going to be the person holding up the mirror. We can't sugarcoat it. We can't go through and make it feel good for them. Yes, tone is different. Yes, approach is different. But that doesn't mean you're going to take away from what the meat of the conversation is. You have to hold that mirror up and show them so that they can see for themselves. And again, if you have an accountability partner, you have to trust in that partner. Balancing mirroring and shaming versus shaming. Effective accountability requires focusing on behavior rather than attacking the person's worthiness, which is a delicate, often failed balance. If you attack them and you're the mirror, they're going to shut down. You have to show them these are facts. This is what has happened. This is what you're saying. This is what you're doing. You can't be the judge that attacks them. And I know I've been in both spots of that. And I know it doesn't work when you're judging. I know it doesn't work when you're very harsh. I understand that for myself now as I'm working on that. But you have to be a good accountability partner to see growth in that person. Remember, you care about them. Unconditional love. That's what makes you unconditionally loving them. That you know they make mistakes, that you know something didn't happen the way it's supposed to happen. You know they're not doing what they're supposed to do, but you're still holding that mirror up because you care about them. And maintaining trust. Accountability is only effective if a person believes you care about them. Without this foundation, the mirror feels like an attack. Again, I just said that a second ago. You have to trust in the partner that's holding up, your friend that's been there for 20 years. You gotta hold them. You have to look at them in a different light, that they wouldn't try to hurt me. They're not trying to hurt me. They're not trying to make me feel bad. What they're doing is trying to help me grow as a person. They're trying to help me grow and realize what I'm doing with my blind spots. I trust in them, whoever that person is for you. Assuming the role of coach, not judge. It is different to avoid falling into the drama triangle rather than being a coach who helps the person see their own gaps. Talk about life coaching. I talk about fitness coaching. I talk about these different things that I'm trying to help with. And a lot of times when you don't have a personal relationship to somebody and you're growing a personal relationship as a client, what you're realizing is that I'm going to close those gaps and I have to hold you accountable for them, or you're never going to get to your goals. And just as I would do that with my family or my person or my whatever, I'm going to look at them probably in a deeper sense because I want to see that growth more and more because I love them unconditionally. You have to be coach, not judgment, not judge. Avoiding mirror misuse. A significant challenge is ensuring you are actually holding a mirror, reflecting back their behavior rather than becoming the mirror or projecting your own biases and negativity onto them. So if you have a bias or negativity and you reflect that back to them and tell them they're wrong, but you should be believing in what you believe in, that's not holding a mirror. Holding a mirror is making them look at themselves, look at their own action, look at their own words, look at what they've done. And then consistency in self-accountability. The person holding up the mirror must also be accountable, as others will notice if you fail to live up to the standards you are demanding of them. Don't tell them they can't go and lie to their partner. Don't tell them that they can't go lie and do it if you're doing it yourself. Don't tell them that you're allowed to go do this, but you're doing the opposite. To be effective, this approach requires clear communication, empathy, and a shared commitment to grow. You need to have those, guidelines for you and your friendship, you and your partner, you and the person you're holding accountable, the accountability partner and you, the person holding up the mirror and you have to have some guidelines in here, right? So some strategies for holding up this mirror. Here they are. I'm going to end with this. State facts, not judgments. Focus on observable, objective actions. Instead of saying you are responsible, you could say, hey, you were supposed to call me at 3 o'clock yesterday and I didn't get a call. Those are facts. Replay their words to them. Mirror the words back to them to highlight inconsistencies or impact. For example, you mentioned you value punctuality, but I noticed that you were late, checking in with me 3 times. You're holding them accountable for their own words. Replay it back to them. And then you got to ask insightful questions. Encourage self-reflection by asking, what did you learn from this experience? How did your action impact your partner? Or what would you do differently next time? Have them come back and reflect on what they did versus what they would do, or what they think about what actually happened. Focus on impact. Clearly explain the consequences of their actions with their relationship or their project or their goals. When you miss these points or these important parts, it causes discomfort and confusion. Focus on that impact. Check in regularly. Don't wait for a major fail. Provide consistent check-ins and feedbacks to catch issues early as they show you care. I do it with every one of my clients. You get a check-in from me every single day. Have a day off. You might get it the next day, but usually it's almost every single day. Whether you're working out, whether you're in life coaching aspect, it's almost every single day because I don't want you to fall off. I want you to expect consistency from me. I want to check in on you and make sure you're okay. I want to make sure that we get ahead of something instead of having to react. We're going to be proactive instead of react, right? Reactive. So set clear expectations, ensure that there is a shared understanding of success, timelines, and responsibilities. Sometimes summarizing the agreed upon virtues of your friendship help. Hey, we're friends, and we always said that you can come to me and you can open up and you can tell me what you see, and I'm not going to take offense from it, and I'm going to let you hold up that mirror, and I'm going to let you challenge me. We've come up with this. Let's summarize these clear expectations that we had. I'm your coach, and my job is to hold you accountable, to make sure you're working out, to make sure that you're keeping healthy, make sure you're getting your mental health taken care of, to make sure that your spiritual uplift is there for you. I'm going to check in and make sure you went to church, or make sure that you prayed today, or make sure that you went to the gym today and you worked on your physical health, or maybe you did some meditation today because mentally you need that today. Make sure what your goals were are being accomplished. If that was part of your goals, I'm going to check in with you. Use I statements. Frame feedback around your perception to reduce defensiveness. I feel concerned when I see you get upset because I want us to succeed. I want you to meet your goals. And then create a collaborative approach. Frame the conversation as problem solving rather than blaming. Use we to emphasize shared goals. How can we ensure this doesn't happen again? Understand that these are all strategies for holding up a mirror. So if you are that person holding up a mirror for someone, which you should have that role, and guess what? You should also have someone that is that role for you. You want to show growth. You want unconditional love. Pick somebody that unconditionally loves you. because you know that their heart is in it. You know that they love you. You know that they want the best interest for you. You know that they want to trust, you want to trust in them, and that you do trust in them. Find a friend, find a partner, find somebody. Even if it is an unconditional love, find somebody that you know is not going to lie to you, that they're going to give you 100%, that they're not going to sugarcoat it for you. I think this is a really important part of having people in your life. So many people have all friends that are, yes, that's great, yes, that's great. And there's nobody questioning them or their actions. Be that person. I'm going to leave you with this. As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. King Solomon said that. So go back to religion, go back to God, go back to these concepts. As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. How do you make your friend better? Build their kingdom. Build yourself, build their kingdom. Hold them accountable just like you hold yourself accountable. Give them advice and challenge them based on what's happening in their life or their actions. And do the same for yourself. Find someone to do it for you. You are iron and you are sharpening iron. You are a friend and you are sharpening your friend. The goal is to make them better people, just like you would make yourself a better person. Take this with you. Go and find someone that you're going to challenge. Go find who your accountability partner is, or your challenging, holding up the mirror partner is. Because I believe 100% in this concept of holding up the mirror. You have to do it for yourself, and you have to have someone that's going to challenge you. So if you truly want to grow, you truly want to look deep inside yourself, you truly want to see the why you're doing certain things and why you're not doing the things that you wanted to do. You truly want to understand why things are not turning out the way you want them to turn out. Fix yourself as a person, meaning fix your character and stay humble to the idea that you're not always right, that you might have to listen to other people's perspectives, that you might have to check yourself and understand that that person truly loves you. They're only holding it up because they want you to be a better person or better version of yourself. No one's trying to blame you and say you're not great, because I'm sure 99% of the stuff is great. But when you're struggling with something, you're trying to meet goals, or you're struggling with what happened in a situation, or you had an argument with someone, listen to your accountability partner. Let them hold up a mirror for you, and then you hold up your own mirror for yourself. Dig deep into the why things happen. Trust in the fact that they're there because they love you unconditionally. Trust in the fact that you should love yourself unconditionally, and that you should always want to better yourself. Build your kingdom. Big shout out to my nephew this weekend. Big shout out to my son tonight on his wrestling banquet. Great news for both of them being part of this sport. Anyone that's part of that sport, whether you're female or male, understands the concept of accountability, and that's what this is all about today. Taking accountability for your own actions. I love all of this. So I'm going to leave you with that. Take care. If you haven't followed or listened, please share it, listen, tell somebody else about it. Maybe they'll get something from this. Again, check out my website, legacycoaching-buildyourkingdom.com. The site, I'm looking for a couple more fitness partners that I'll have that I can train for physical fitness along with mental fitness. This summer, I'm looking for a total of 4 or 5 of us, and hopefully we can go around your schedule. You can check out my website and what I offer. Also, life coaching's out there still, and I think life coaching is the foundation for everything else. Comes fitness, comes mental, comes spiritual, comes career, comes relationship. So if you're interested, or you know someone interested and they truly want some help, reach out to me. Get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me on my website. You can see my phone number. You can check it out. Call me. Have a good day. Take care.